Hello, and welcome to What's Your Story? Today, my guest, Keely Pierce, is the visionary founder and CEO of I Am More Academy. As an award winning empowerment coach and transformational guide, she specializes in assisting mompreneurs to discover their unique balance blueprint, redefine success, and achieve harmony. Keely skillfully guides others from chaos to calm, leaving a lasting impact and a ripple effect that extends far beyond the room, transforming the lives of those she touches. Welcome, Keely. We're so glad to have you here.
Amazing. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Judy.
Oh, thank you. We had a little lapse in time there, but I can hear you now. So that's the great thing. Where are you? You're in the UK, aren't you?
I am, yes. I'm in the UK. I'm in the southwest, so I'm right down the very bottom. So yeah, we get some nice coastal views and lots of beaches on the doorstep, which is lovely.
Ooh, that sounds wonderful. That sounds
Yeah.
really wonderful. Now, you describe your early career under the topic of From Pubs to Passion as a ballroom ballerina. What was the biggest lesson you learned in that unexpected setting that still shapes your work today?
Well, to be honest, it was a bit of an accidental fall in career path, really. I kind of ended up getting a bar job with the idea that I was going to go and become a teacher. And then the job I actually ended up in, the gentleman had never had a female manager before. And he said that females weren't good enough. And so
Oh,
right there, press the buttons, right there, my entire kind of life changed because I'm so kind of like stubborn. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not going to go to university and I'm going to be here until I become your first female manager. And in that moment, everything kind of just become a life of pub work, really. So hospitality, become a licensee. I absolutely became his first female manager. And I think as kind of everything that sticks with you in that hospitality trade is the work ethic, kind of the timing that you put in. When I first had my own pub restaurant, I was 21 years old, but I was doing 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I did that for, say, 4 or 5 months nonstop. And that just really instills, whether it's the people skills, the life skills, kind of the small talk that allows you to really just embrace anything you do in life. It just opens all those doors.
it certainly does. Well, I live here in the hospitality capital of the world in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we know what it is to work 24 hours a day for sure. And we know what customer service is, which a lot of people have forgotten. I sometimes want to remind them of that. You mentioned a chance encounter that changed your life path. Uh, would you share that story and elaborate on how it opened the door for your journey as an empowerment coach?
Absolutely. I love a sliding doors moment. And for me, when I had my daughter, so she's now 12, and I just decided that having babies crying upstairs and busy bars downstairs and call it the barroom ballerina, you're constantly on your tiptoes and everything. And I just got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm done. I want whatever normal is. Take me to whatever normal life is. And so we gave our customers 6 months notice. And within that time, somebody approached me and just kind of said, what are you doing Tuesday evening that you can't put off? And for me, I obviously done the rotas, and being very kind of impulsive, I was like, you tell me, where are we going Tuesday night? And he took me along to this presentation, and basically it introduced me to network marketing. And within that network marketing kind of entrepreneurial skills, etc., and all of the personal development actually took me to Las Vegas to
Oh,
learn
wow.
from Eric Murray and Robert Kiyosaki and Les Brown and so many different people. So I actually kind of, just that whole personal development train started. And I'm very mindful that you just say yes to opportunities, even when you don't have a clue what they are or what they mean, because you just don't know what doors they may open and where it could lead you.
Boy, you never do you? It's amazing. I can't remember how many times I've said yes to something and I've ended up going, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, it's
And
not always good.
your work with clients focuses on redefining success beyond the $1 million dream. What does your personal definition of success look like? And how do you help your clients find their own unique version?
So I think for everybody, defining success is so different, isn't it? It's kind of, for one person, that success could be literally being able to have their family and work part time, and that could be successful to them, to find that balance. To another person, it could be to have that $1 million lifestyle with a personal nanny and a chef and everything else, and kind of maybe even a yacht, who knows. And for each individual person, I think as you go through your life and things change, your own definition of success changes in time as well. And for me, I am a very big believer, like I say, in personal development and that ongoing self-mastery journey. And I went to an experience, and it definitely was an experience more than a retreat, because we were put through kind of, imagine Who Dares Wins, SAS style, kind of pushed to the extremes and triggered and everything, obviously all to break you down, to kind of break through, I suppose, whatever the things that you need to break through was. And on one of the experience, we were introduced to this elder gentleman. His name was Alex. And when we got to this gate, because we weren't really sure where we were going, we were told it was possibly a bird sanctuary. I can assure you it definitely was not that. And we were met at the gate by an emu. And it was like, did I just see that? And then next thing, there was a goat that followed the emu. And then there was a man that followed. It was absolutely torrential downpour, and he had sandals on and this anorak with a parrot on his shoulder. And I was like, wow, what are we stepping into right now? And so we went into this place, which actually turned out to be his home. And what he does out of his own passion is rescue animals, basically.
Oh,
And if they're injured, he nurses them back to health, or obviously if they can't be kind of fixed, so to speak, he will keep them and keep them safe and let them live their life. And he had a multitude of animals, like a whole array. And he welcomed us into his home. And when I say home, it was kind of more, imagine, kind of, I suppose here in the UK, we call it a shed, an outhouse, kind of not a lot there. And you walked in and there was some fish guts in a dish at the door. And then you walked in and some dead mice kind of as you walked in the path. And then there was just this kind of empty room, a dark room with some of his art, an animal at the end of his bed, a chair and a fire, no television, no nothing. You turn round and there was this maybe, how big? 1 meter kind of work unit that was his kitchen and a table. And he just stood there and was like, I've made it. This is my world. What more could I ask for? And you stood there in that moment and you just looked around and seen what little he actually lived with and how happy and truly happy he was. And it just kind of, to me, made me come home and then think, do I need that? Do I really want to aspire to that? What makes me happy? What emotional baggage do I carry in my home? Which I don't know if anybody else can relate to hoarding things in their loft and their attic. But
yes.
yeah, I come away from that experience and very much kind of just redefined my own version of success and how that made me feel.
Oh, you mentioned hoarders. I think I'm the worst. I was telling someone the other day, I'm really not a hoarder. My garage looks like it, but I'm an artist. Everything out there is canvases and frames. I said I'm not a hoarder. I'm an artist. Let's get real clear on that. But it really looks like I'm a hoarder at this point. I keep saying, every day I walk through my house with a cardboard box, and I go to every room and I pick up one thing and put it in the cardboard box. Then I put it in the garage, and if I don't need it in 2 weeks, it goes. Because
2 weeks is
yeah,
a short time frame.
yeah, otherwise I go out there and I take it out and I bring it back in. So if it's still there in 2 weeks, it's gone. So yeah, I can identify with his success, because the more I get rid of it, seems the happier I am, because I used to be a real hoarder. Okay, I have more questions for you. You're so interesting. Okay. I like how you call it a juggling act, and it really is, isn't it? As a mother, entrepreneur, and coach, how do you personally manage your own life balance?
Great question. Great question. And I think sometimes you don't know what hat you've got on, do you? You know, one minute you're literally at the school gates and trying to do all the right mum things that you're meant to do and take them to activities and things. And the next you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to be on a call, and you're kind of wondering where your glasses are or whatever it is you need, and getting organized. And I think there's so much chaos, and it's so hard to get rid of the chaos, because there's a fine line between happy chaos and I'm going to cry chaos, kind of, is it all a bit overwhelming? And for me, to identify my time is key, because obviously if I'm not okay, nobody else is, and the washing is definitely not getting done. So yeah, it's about identifying what you need. So for me, I love to have my spa membership, and I go once a week, and I have this time slot where I don't really do a lot of exercise or swimming. It's just for me to have time out. And I think the biggest lesson for that kind of balance is, if it's in the diary already, you find time because it's already there. Whereas if it's not in the diary, it's just not going to happen. And we all have like the same amount of time and stuff, and we all live by busy schedules. But if it's already in there, then you definitely just allocate a bit more space for yourself. And it's also really important to kind of come over the stigma of asking for help. They say that you need a tribe to bring up a family and children, and even yourself. Your tribe could be your friends, your community that you associate with. And it's about reaching out sometimes, and just kind of, hey, come and help me, or would you mind helping me do this, or could you, whatever it may be. Just don't be afraid to ask for help. It doesn't make you weak or vulnerable or anything to reach out.
But most of us don't want to impose on other people.
Oh, I'm a nightmare. I can say it. It doesn't mean it comes easy. It definitely is something I have to lean into and purposely be mindful about, that kind of, okay, how am I feeling? Right, let's just ask. And even if that's my husband, he's very, very supportive of everything I do, but it still doesn't mean I want to ask him for help. So even that time, we schedule in our own time, kind of to make sure that we have time apart, but also time together and time as a family. So it's all about that balance and what brings you joy.
It really is, isn't it? It really is. Your work extends beyond individual coaching. So tell us about the work that you do as a youth development coach. Why are you so passionate to work with children and young adults?
Oh, topic that fills my heart, this one. So for me, as a child growing up, there was a lot of childhood trauma. There was a lot of just poverty, problems, family dynamics. My mum was a drug addict. So with any addiction, as many people will know, they're very self-obsessed. And with that, I had to grow up just really young. There was me and my sister. I'm the eldest. And yeah, it was a case of not literally do or die, but very much living in survival mode and ensuring that, we got by and we did what we needed to do. So then as I grew up, I just always knew that I just didn't want that life. And it's so easy, I suppose, for everybody who experiences that life to stay in the cycle. And I wouldn't have necessarily had the words to say, I'm going to break this cycle, but I just knew that's not what I wanted. And so for me, I was always very goal orientated from a young adult, where if I wanted something, I knew that I had to get it. So I always worked hard. I think I started work at the age of 15. And the day before my first job, most parents will be like, have an early night, make sure you get your rest. My mum took me to an illegal rave, and literally I didn't get home until a couple of hours before my shift started. And it would have been very easy for me to say, I'm tired. I've been up all night, whatever it may be. I'm just not going to go. But that resilience and tenacity and everything that was instilled in me from those kind of survival stuff just really kind of built the foundations for my work going forward. And at some points I had 3 jobs. It kind of just built up as I went along, because anything I wanted, I knew I had to work for. But what it kind of come to in years of the personal development I referred to earlier was I had this moment. So I don't know if anybody or yourself has ever been to a Tony Robbins event. They're phenomenal and amazing. And at that moment at the event, I didn't really take on board what I'd written on a piece of paper. And it was maybe about 2017, I found this picture I'd taken on my camera phone of this note from that event. And I wrote along the lines of, my mission and purpose in life is to help a child like me to know that they are more and that they are enough. And if I don't, then that's thousands of souls lost. And I found that note, I had goosebumps, and I thought, I'm done. And by that point, I'd ended up in a corporate job. I was in sales and everything else. And I was like, I'm done. I know what I need to be doing. And at that moment, I Am More Academy was kind of born, really, and the foundations of my business. So I go into schools, I share my story, I empower them to know that they can break the cycle and that they can be anything they want to be, and just share that message along with a lot of the personal development I've learned and those kind of life skills, essential life skills that the education system here in the UK anyway definitely doesn't give the students.
Right. It doesn't here in America either. You're right up my alley. You know, I wrote the book "You Are More Than Enough," and when I saw your "I Am More Academy," I went, "Yes, she's doing what I do." You know, it's so wonderful to hear about your personal development journey, because it is quite a journey. And having been on this journey for a long time, I really am impressed with you and your academy and what you're doing. And how old are the students that come to you?
So because of the nature of my story and kind of stuff I wanted to do, I aimed more at secondary school, which here in the UK is year 7 to kind of sixth form. So that's anything between 11, 12 years old up to 18. But I'm just about to launch a new charity. So I also run a charity, slightly different to everything else I do. But this new charity will enable me to bring in funding to kind of reach all of those vulnerable children that schools are forever never having enough funding. So it'll
Yeah.
just give me the ability to go in and see a whole lot more students. And with that, the scope of age also just kind of broadens.
Right, right. I was watching television the other day, and they had a special on the kids here in our city that go to school that don't have meals at home. You know, there's no food at home. So from Friday till Monday, when they're home on the weekend, they have no food unless somebody sends something from the school with them. And they don't have food in the evenings at home. And I was just amazed at the immense amount, you know, the number of people that are really struggling in this day and age. I'm very
Massive.
impressed that you're doing what you can to help people, because it really needs, you know, and it's not just here in America, it's all over the world, you know, that people are struggling.
Absolutely. And that's why for me, it was really important to not just have kind of the opportunity of a UK charity. I want to be able to, it's not just me, but to be able to have the funds and the opportunities to kind of bring people on board, to share their message, to share their journey, to really just help the next generation. The work I do with students just, I have bills to pay and I have a mortgage to pay. But if I
Yes.
could do it for free and everything was paid behind me, I absolutely would. I just thrive on the bounce back from the students, understanding that they can relate to me and that they understand where I'm coming from, because some part of my journey, so here we call them adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. And, they say if you can have one emotionally secure adult in your life, it can kind of help towards all of these traumas that they experience and make it kind of that they're less likely to go to prison or get into addiction or whatever it may be. And for me, it's just so important. I just love, love, love what I do.
Well, it shows. It really shows that you do. Now, you're going to be a speaker at the Women Thrive Summit in March 18th to 23rd. And what are you speaking about there?
Well, other than the children, mostly what I've kind of spoke about this evening. So it's about kind of the mompreneur's journey. So it's about life balance. So finding the life balance blueprint, redefining success, and your ongoing self-mastery journey. So it's really just giving some tools and strategies to kind of help those mompreneurs have it all. They can literally have it all.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. You wrote an article for us in our Choices magazine recently. It was an exceptionally good article. What was the title of it?
Oh, good question. Oh, you caught me on the spot. I don't even remember.
I don't remember either, but I remember reading it and thinking that you are a really sharp woman.
It,
It was
I think it was along the lines of, wasn't it? It was about the new year and just kind of taking it by the storm and just don't letting the overwhelm of everything that can kind of happen consume you, and kind of really just take ownership of what you want for the year and propel
right.
forward.
Right. It was really good. I really appreciated it. I'm kind of one of those kind of people myself. I don't always think before I jump in. It's like, oh, here's a new year. Let's do a whole bunch of new stuff. And I maybe haven't finished last year's stuff before I get on with it. But yeah, I really enjoyed your article. I hope you'll continue to write articles for us because a lot of people commented on how good it was. Yeah.
Thank you. That's
So
really lovely. I'd love to.
if there's one thing you would like to tell the ladies that are watching our show, what lesson do you think you would share with them?
Oh, what lesson? To be unapologetically you. I
Ooh.
think for so long, there's kind of like having maybe the devil and the angel on your shoulders, and you have all of these dreams and aspirations, and then you think, I'm not enough. Can I do that? Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be, who's going to want to listen to me for whatever capacity it may be in, or this idea. And I just think sometimes if you can own it, so that little devil, I've actually called my little devil. My nan is called Margaret, and she is like my guardian angel. And my nan was always a lady that had a cup half empty. It was always, she meant the best, but it was always the negative. Oh, don't do that just in case. Maybe don't do that because, and she would always be like that. But I knew she just wanted the best for me and was more worried. And so I nicknamed my imposter syndrome Margie, which is what my nan fostered children for years, and that's what they called her. And because I think if you can understand that the imposter syndrome is just there to keep you safe, or the perception of safe, because it's your comfort zone, and ignore it anyway. Tell Margie, tap it on the shoulder, say, I'm okay. This is for me. I'm going to do this. Because at the end of the day, we've all got to start somewhere. And failure is the only option to getting anywhere in life. And so once you can kind of understand that failing, but just keep putting a step in front, even if it's a toe in front, just little steps moving forward, then you will absolutely get to anywhere you want to be. So
Oh,
own that imposter syndrome.
that is wonderful advice. That is absolutely incredible advice. Just keep going. Because I don't know, where do so many people get the idea they're not enough? What is that? I've run across people all the time that just feel like, well, a lady said to me the other day, she was sitting next to me at a luncheon, and she said to me, how does it feel to be a somebody? I've always wanted to be a somebody. And I looked at her and I said, you are a somebody. What are you talking about? But it amazes me that people feel that way.
I think sometimes it's that preconditioning, isn't it? When you're a child, when you're little, when you don't even realize, as a parent, I mean, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And sometimes I think, oh, my poor child, hopefully she'll be okay. But with all the best intentions. But yeah, I think there's just little things that get said, but maybe a little thing and a little thing and a little thing that then just make you doubt yourself, and kind of question your own sanity and ability sometimes. And I guess with kind of maybe my upbringing and the experiences I had, there was never really that validation or love to begin with, other than my nan. But she wasn't there constantly because she didn't live close. But at the same time, it was enough, I think, to give me the foundations to be who I am today.
Mhm.
But with the kind of little niggles and maybe just not that support, we grow up to think we aren't enough and we're not, kind of we're not good enough to achieve whatever it is that we think. Whereas I'll tell my daughter, if you want to go and have lunch on the moon, go and have lunch on the moon. My motto in life is very much winners find a way. There is always a way. And it's just about kind of working out what avenue to take, if not take them all until you find it.
Oh, I love that. Winners find a way. That's a
Yeah.
that's a good message for us to end the show on, and let people think about that. Winners find a way. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Keely, it's been absolutely fabulous having you on the show. I hope you'll come back and be with us again one day soon. Um,
Amazing.
you're absolutely delightful, and I've enjoyed so much learning more about you today and about what you do. And I really admire that you're making that effort to make a difference in those kids' lives because it really is an important thing to be doing. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me share my.
And thank you for being here with us today for another one of our wonderful international guests. And I hope that you will come back again very soon because we have many, many more really interesting women entrepreneurs from around the world to talk with you. So all we need is to maybe give them a little bit of love. Okay. So come back and do that.